Every time she made a mention to hip-hop culture, it was something that was wrong with it. And it was something that was on my CD that was the largest debut in hip-hop album.
Did you know 50 Cent named his dog Oprah and his cat Gayle King during their feud? But it's not just about jokes. 50 Cent has called out Oprah for double standards, from her ties with Harvey Weinstein to how she treated black artists like Taraji P. Henson and Monique. But why did this all start? And what's kept the fire burning between these two powerful figures? Stay tuned as we explore the full story. In the early 2000s, 50 Cent was riding high on the success of his debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. It was a massive deal, with hit songs like In Da Club making him a household name. Now, Oprah, on the other hand, had this image of being supportive, powerful, and influential, but with a strong focus on promoting positive and uplifting stories. Oprah had always been critical of certain elements in hip-hop, especially those that talked about violence or were perceived as misogynistic. So when 50 wanted to be on her show, she refused. Well, she felt 50's music wasn't aligned with the positive messaging she wanted for her audience.
You know what it was like? I see her show, and every time she make mention of what she felt like was wrong with hip-hop culture, it was something that was on my album that was the largest debut in hip-hop album.
Now, for 50 Cent, this was more than just a no. It felt personal. He once said that having Oprah's approval would have meant everything, especially because his grandmother was a big fan. But since he didn't get that, he decided to flip the script. If Oprah wouldn't be an ally, he thought, then he'd make her a rival. That's when things took a turn. Instead of moving on quietly, 50 Cent started leaning into this rivalry. He figured if he couldn't be on her radar in a good way, he'd at least make sure she noticed him in a bad way. He once said, "If we can't be friends, then at least let's be enemies." So fast forward to more recent times, and here comes Taraji P. Henson dropping a bombshell about her experience with The Color Purple, which Oprah produced. Taraji revealed that she almost walked away from the project due to low pay, saying she had to stand her ground for fair treatment. This wasn't just any revelation, it was big. Taraji is known for being bold, so when she speaks up, people listen. And this time, 50 Cent was listening too.
So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%.
That's right.
Okay? So do the math. Now we have $5 million.
When he heard what Taraji said, he jumped in to show support. On social media, he encouraged her to step away from Oprah's production and join forces with him instead. He even posted, "I'm ready to work. Let's get it." For 50 Cent, this was more than just supporting a fellow artist. It was another chance to call out Oprah's practices. He saw Taraji's situation as proof that Oprah wasn't always the champion of fairness that her public image suggested. Now, let's talk about one of the main reasons 50 Cent's beef with Oprah took off: her views on hip-hop. Oprah has always been a massive cultural figure, but she's also known for having strong opinions, and not all of them sit well with everyone. When it came to hip-hop, especially in its rawest forms, Oprah had no problem voicing her criticism. She often highlighted the negative themes like violence and misogyny, which she believed were harmful to her audience.
I didn't have anything against Oprah.
You just called her a bitch.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You named your dog Oprah, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
For 50 Cent, this was frustrating. He saw it as a one-sided critique that ignored the stories and experiences behind the music. In his eyes, Oprah was disregarding an entire culture's way of expressing their reality. He felt she was focusing only on the negatives and ignoring how hip-hop could be powerful, telling, and reflective of real-life struggles. And when 50 feels strongly about something, he doesn't hold back. He publicly called her out, saying that she didn't give hip-hop, or him, a fair chance. If you know 50, you know he's not just about serious confrontations. He likes to throw in some humor, too. So what did he do when the feud with Oprah was in full swing? He named his dog after her, and his cat after her best friend, Gayle King.
You have a couple of pets as well,
Yeah.
a dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
That's Oprah, named after the Oprah, and your cat's name
Yeah, and
is?
then Gail.
Now, for most people, this was just 50 Cent being his cheeky self. But it was also a statement. Naming his pets after Oprah and Gayle wasn't just a joke. It was his way of saying, I'm in this for the long haul, and I'm not backing down.
I just had to let her go with the babysitter, like the girl in my office.
Would you yell like, Oprah, sit, Oprah, pee, Oprah, this?
I'm doing the same commands that she's supposed to put your hand over her head. Sit.
Fans were amused, with some seeing it as funny and lighthearted, while others thought it was just 50 taking things too far. Now, here's where things start to get serious. Oprah's long-standing friendship with Harvey Weinstein became a big point of contention, especially after his crimes were exposed. Weinstein was a major Hollywood producer who was convicted of sexual assault and harassment, and his case opened the floodgates for the Me Too movement. While many distanced themselves from him when the allegations came out, Oprah's ties with him didn't go unnoticed.
Let's talk about what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining.
50 Cent and others started pointing out that Oprah had been publicly supportive of Weinstein, even posing for photos with him at events. And when it was revealed that Oprah had allegedly reached out to him when the allegations first came out, advising him to defend himself, people were shocked. 50 Cent didn't hesitate to bring this up, calling out the double standards. He and other critics asked why Oprah would go hard on exposing issues within the Black community, but appear supportive when it came to someone like Weinstein. Celebrities like Rose McGowan and Seal even joined in, criticizing Oprah for what they saw as hypocrisy.
Oprah is now being criticized for her speech that night by a very unlikely star.
Me too.
Seal posted a photo of Oprah with Weinstein, saying, "When you've been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution. But do you know what happened when Ludacris, the rapper and actor, went on Oprah's show to promote the movie Crash?" This story has been a big point in the discussion about Oprah's relationship with Black artists, especially those in hip-hop. Ludacris was invited to the show along with his co-stars to discuss the film, which was known for addressing racial issues. But instead of focusing solely on the movie, Oprah used the platform to question Ludacris about his music and the use of explicit language in his lyrics.
No, I didn't. But, we've pretty much made up since then, man. Like, I've talked to her over the phone. Everything's cool. I would like to get invited back, though. Okay. When is our show going to be live? That's the question. Live. Without being, edited. Right. I want to go on Oprah.
Now, Ludacris was caught off guard. He was there to talk about his acting, not defend his music. He later said he felt ambushed and that Oprah's comments seemed out of place given the context. But what really stung was what happened when the show aired. Ludacris claimed that Oprah had edited out his response to her criticism, making it look like he didn't have much to say for himself. But when Dave Chappelle went on Oprah's show, things got a little tense. This was around the time Dave had walked away from a huge $50 million deal with Comedy Central and disappeared to Africa. Oprah invited him onto her show to share his side of the story. But what played out made many people wonder if she had an agenda.
Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every Black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me.
Dave tried to explain that the pressure from the industry and the strings attached to big money deals were too much to handle. He spoke about feeling like people were trying to push him into taking antipsychotic medication and doubting his own sanity. But instead of letting him fully share his experience, Oprah seemed to push the narrative that he was just stressed or even paranoid. At one point, she kept steering the conversation towards, "Were you paranoid?" and "Did you seek medical help in Africa?" This line of questioning didn't sit well with some viewers, who felt she was trying to frame him in a certain light. What made this even more significant was the way Dave described it later. He mentioned how he felt like people were trying to convince him he was losing it, which lined up with stories other Black artists have shared about being misunderstood or labeled when they speak their truth. It made people question Oprah's intentions. Was she trying to help tell Dave's story, or was she subtly discrediting him? 50 Cent later brought up Dave's experience as another example of why he had issues with Oprah. He pointed out that this wasn't just about hip-hop or rap, but about how Black entertainers felt treated when they didn't fit a certain mold. Also, back in 2006, Oprah picked James Frey's memoir, A Million Little Pieces, for her super influential book club. Now, if you know anything about Oprah's book club, you'll know that getting a book featured there is a huge deal. So naturally, Frey's book became a hit, and he got a ton of attention. But then, the drama hit. It came out that Frey had fabricated parts of his memoir. Basically, he made up some of the dramatic stories in the book. This revelation turned into a big scandal. People felt deceived, and since Oprah had backed the book, it put her in an awkward spot. At first, Oprah defended Frey. She went on TV and said that even if some parts were made up, the book's message still resonated. But as the backlash grew, Oprah decided she needed to address the issue head-on to protect her credibility. So she invited James Frey back on her show for what turned into a public confrontation. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a casual chat. Oprah expressed her disappointment and even anger, telling Frey that she felt duped by his lies. She wanted to show that she stood by the truth and that her book club wasn't just about pushing any book, but about authentic, meaningful stories. Now, 50 Cent, being the outspoken guy he is, didn't let this moment pass without weighing in. He had a different take on how Oprah handled it. he thought she went too far with the public takedown. In his eyes, everyone messes up. And while Frey did make mistakes, 50 felt Oprah's confrontation was more about protecting her brand than actually handling the situation in a fair way. He saw it as her making a big show out of it, focusing more on her image than on being compassionate or understanding that people aren't perfect. While 50 is known for being tough and outspoken, he's also been quick to stand up for people when he feels they're being treated unfairly. This was especially true when Monique called out Oprah and Tyler Perry for blackballing her after she refused to do free press for Precious. Monique claimed she was labeled difficult to work with, which affected her career for years.
You know, the phone was ringing and the scripts were coming. And when people say, Monique, where have you been? It's not that I haven't been on TV or been in the movies because I've been blackballed, as Mr. Daniels has said.
50 Cent wasn't just going to sit back and watch. He spoke out, saying it was wrong for people as powerful as Oprah and Tyler Perry to hold Monique back. He even confronted Tyler Perry about it, asking him why Monique's career had taken such a hit. According to 50, Tyler played it off like he didn't know what was going on, which didn't sit right with 50 or Monique's supporters. He cast Monique in the second season of his show Black Mafia Family, BMF, giving her a platform and showing that he's willing to back up his words. This wasn't just a one-time thing either.
Keep your hands where I can fucking see them. Guess them Detroit boys ain't so slow after all, huh, Goldie?
What you want?
When Taraji P. Henson spoke about her issues with Oprah and the color purple, 50 Cent was there again, posting on social media and saying he'd be happy to work with her. One of the most consistent ways 50 Cent has kept his feud with Oprah alive is through social media. If there's one thing we know about 50, it's that he's not shy about expressing his opinions, and Instagram has been his go-to platform for doing just that. One instance that really stands out was when Oprah was involved in a documentary that featured one of Russell Simmons' sexual assault accusers.
Story. It's the new fallout from Oprah Winfrey's announcement that she's pulling out as executive producer of the documentary On the Record, which focuses on sexual misconduct allegations against hip-hop mogul Russell Simmons.
Now, Russell Simmons had denied the allegations, but what caught 50 Cent's attention was Oprah's role in the project. He pointed out that while she was producing content that scrutinized black men, she wasn't doing the same for white men like Harvey Weinstein, who faced similar accusations. He posted about it, saying it was sad to see Oprah going after black men while seeming to stay silent on others. But regardless of the opinions, one thing was clear. 50 Cent was making people pay attention to what he felt were double standards in the industry. His posts were shared, commented on, and discussed widely, keeping the spotlight on his issues with Oprah. What do you think about all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives. See you next time.